I want to talk about two things, and it applies to several of you. And something I've been working on, even in my own life, even recently, a lot, which is just because it is improving the quality of my life so much, and I see the need for it in several of you, which is, and I talked about it already, so I want to talk about it again, and then talk about it on camera, is the need to start to have fun for yourself. A lot of you are day to day not enjoying your life, trying to get somewhere. And I talk about this as that perfectly imperfect, fall in love with yourself, all that stuff. The problem with that is that you guys aren't quite getting it. You're saying, yeah, I need to love myself. Oh, yeah, I need to love myself. But you're not backing up and saying, okay, no, do I really want to love myself? Because you keep chasing the women. And you don't get women by chasing them, they run away. Somebody said it really well. How did Hale say it to you that it connected with you?
That you want desire?
Yeah, it was the one phrase, the nature of want implies lack. So there can't be a want, otherwise there has to, by law of polarity, be a lack. And so when you're out at the bar wanting women, you are therefore in lack. And lack implies you cannot have. So you have to resolve that. And how you resolve that is by learning to love your life right where it's at. And this is not, okay, it's cool, I should do that. This is literally, can you get up and start enjoying making your bed, enjoying the dishes, and keep your closet clean, get yourself organized? Because all that's the foundation for really enjoying your life. Then can you walk down the street and enjoy at least 80% of your day? If you can't enjoy 80% of your day and think it's beautiful without a woman to validate you, why would a woman want to come into that reality? And think about that for a minute. If you can't enjoy your life on a daily basis, if you can't walk down the street and be happy in general, if you can't get up and enjoy your apartment, your room, your life, and then you want to invite a girl into that mess, that reality that you're living in, how long is she going to stay for? Why would she even come in the door? How often do girls walk into guys' spaces, look around, and then want to leave because they can see that the guy's a mess? Like, not just physically a mess, but that he's not. It's just, why would I want to be in this reality? And so you're running around, and so now think of it this way. You're running around and you're going out to meet women, and now the first thing you got to do is put all this energy into hiding the fact that you don't like yourself, hiding the fact that you feel like a mess, hiding the fact that you don't have a nice reality to invite her into, and then pretending you're basically lying to her. So if you only make your bed when you think a girl's coming over, if you only clean your place when you think a girl's coming over, if you only, see what I mean? Then you're basically lying to her. You know, and you're not living a good reality. I mean, why would she want to come into that? So I've spent a lot of time, especially recently, looking at a lot of places, and I did this before, but now I'm really taking it even more seriously as I walk down the street, saying, can I enjoy this walk down the street and not need any person to validate me? A woman, another guy. Can I enjoy sitting and reading and enjoy my reality? Can I enjoy the birds? Can I enjoy the flowers? Can I, you know, like when you are enjoying something, it wants to come towards you. Because if I can't get in touch with the part of myself that's happy and enjoying, how am I supposed to look at the women and enjoy them? How am I supposed to look at the women and be really happy and then have them feel me enjoying them? Because they're going to feel, in other words, they're going to feel my own self-hate, my own self-disapproval, my own self-anger, whatever you want to call it. And so what percentage of your day, John, do you think you're genuinely happy with no need for validation?
No, that's a great question. I don't really know the answer to that.
Well, there's an easy way to get the answer. We have a test for it. And I've given it to you guys before. I don't know if you ever did it. What percentage of your day do you think?
Say, probably 50-50.
Yeah, so it needs to be higher. You want to get that up to 70, 80%. You know, how about you?
Definitely
Good. 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 Now, are you in your body saying that or in your head saying that?
I felt my heart flutter as I was saying it.
Okay, so when you're all the way down here in the lower part of your body, living all, and you can say 80% of your day you're down there enjoying your life, now you really got something. If you're up here, it's harder. Now, that doesn't, now once you're down here enjoying your life at 80% or something like that, then setting a goal and manifesting it becomes 1,000 times easier. Notice how fast he actually does move and how fast he changes. He's probably one of the fastest shifters in the room, and he's new to all this, right? Because he's so in time. And so there's a lot of truth to what he said too. He just has to surmount some beliefs. Now as you get more grounded, which you do have access to your grounding, and you start to stay in your body lower, and then that doesn't mean you're gonna have good belief systems. Once you're grounded, then you have to change your beliefs. Now the safe door is open to change them, we can change them, so we start changing them. But that's the basis. Now you've got the base. So this is a great point. I don't want to push myself or I'll be unhappy.
Well,
What's the right answer?
yeah.
I don't want to put myself in a container because I'll be unhappy, because then my happiness quotient will go down. But it might have to go down to go up, right? It might have to, because once you're in that container, now you're being, the difference is the same problems were always there. Now the problems are all in your face all day long, and now you have to face them and learn to be happy with all your challenges and problems. Whereas before that, most people are walking around distracting them, and their happiness comes from distraction. Most people say, like, if I have a beer, I'm happy. If I watch TV and numb out, I'm happy. That's what they believe is happy, right? If I go to the strip bar, I'm happy. That's what they believe is happy, but that can only last so long, right? And that's what I mean, is this, if you're numbing out and distracting from, and I'm not saying these things are bad, I'm saying if you're distracting from your real goals to be happy, if you're distracting from the things you really want to do with your life to be happy, because I don't want to put myself in pain, that's not happiness either, that's distraction. So we have to be able to define those two, right? If you're not happy in tension, you're never going to be happy with life. You're always going to be miserable, ultimately. You're always going to be subject to being miserable. Maybe you'll be one of these guys that tries to get rid of all the tension, and then I'm happy when I'm doing very little and there's no tension. But do you think tension's going to avoid you? It's going to come find you. Remember the homeless guy? He's avoiding the most tension, right? Like, I don't have a job, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to sit here on the corner. And is he also in the most tension at the same time? He's sleeping in alleys, sleeping in tents, trying to find food every day, can't go get a nice meal, can't get a warm shower, huh? Yeah, in the bushes or something. See, so by avoiding the tension and not liking tension, tension chases him. Okay? Once you get really good with tension, ease chases you. Like, picture Richard Branson is, he's a master of tension, right? Yet he has his own island, he does business from his hammock, he does business from his big giant jacuzzi tub, he plays on the beach, he goes, and he still does business with world leaders all around the world because he's mastered that art, right? So he could stop. He's reached a point where he's amassed so much success and gotten so good, he could now stop and live on his island the rest of his life and do nothing and literally live in luxury doing nothing, yet he chooses to keep going forward because now that would be way too boring for him. It would be absolutely, probably mind-numbingly boring to do that. So for you, it's an exercise that is not simple, but very powerful, is you take 2 days, and the original person that did 3 days, I told him to do 2, and you write down, about every half hour you set an alarm, and you write down all the tension that you had to deal with in the last half hour, okay? And so for example, the alarm clock goes off in the morning, that's tension. It's waking you up. You have to get up and you have to get up. You don't want to get out of bed, right? Or you do, maybe you do want to get out of bed. And so, and then going to work maybe is another form of tension. Maybe it's getting up and making your breakfast and you're kind of dragging yourself. See, I'm talking about little tension to big tension, whatever is tension for you, okay? And then after each bit of tension, I want you to note whether you avoided that tension, you stepped into that tension because you had to, HT, whether you wanted to, WT, well, these are our abbreviations for it, or because you chose it. Like, I really want that. It's more than want. I'm choosing this. I'm in action with it. It's exciting. It's fun. So that's the C. So it's A, HT, WT, C, right? And then we note that after each one. And if you do that for 2 days straight, about every half hour or so, adjust a little bit depending on your schedule, and it's a lot of work to do that, you'll get a feeling for how much of your day you're either avoiding, doing it because you have to, doing it because you want to, or doing it because you choose to. Everybody that's happy is in want to and choose to primarily, most of their day, 70, 80%. Everybody that is miserable is in most of their day avoid and have to. The original person that did this, after 3 days, had 70% avoid. No, it was, yeah, 70% avoid, 20% have to, and 10% choice and want to. You see why he was miserable? And I came up with this exercise because he just wasn't getting the whole principle of tension. He was just stepping into it because he had to, so tension was miserable for him. And he hadn't learned to change his relationship to tension, change his relationship to dealing with tense situations. And because he wasn't getting that, he was just dragging his way through it, thinking that was all you had to do to make tension work for you. He needed this exercise to come to this reality, because if you're in have to and avoid, the tension is not going to work in your favor. It's going to actually be a massive amount. It's going to feel like stress to your body. Your body's going to be in resistance. It's going to shut down. You're going to actually probably manifest and create worse things ultimately. Yeah, you got to go through the avoid and have to, wake up to it and transmute it up higher up that scale, right? But as you get into want to and choice, want to and choice, you start getting up in those higher energies, all this tension starts to become fun. You start to play with it. You start to dance with it. It starts to become interesting. And in the moment when you're journaling sometimes, like I'll journal, here's another exercise you can do. You can walk down the street with the journal for an hour and just notice every little activity, where it's at on that scale. Is this a have to, want to, choice? Am I avoiding something? And you can even look for things you're avoiding in the moment. Oh, wow, I want to go talk to that person, but I'm avoiding it. And then maybe you take a few steps in that direction. And then you ask yourself, can I move this from avoid to want to? Can I move this want to choice? Can I move this have to want to? And you'll see you can do it. And I usually write want to, WT, and then an arrow, and then I'll write arrow, choice. If I was able to make that shift, because you'll feel it in your body, and that's when you start to identify the shifts. You'll feel your body go from, well, I want to do it, and then all of a sudden, I got it, I'm doing it, and boom. And when that happens, you want to identify that moment. Because the more you identify those moments of rising up the scale, if you're forcing yourself, where do you think you're at on the scale?
You're avoiding.
Well, if you force yourself to do it, you're not avoiding, you're walking into it.
Yeah, but you're avoiding it initially.
Okay, you're avoiding it initially, and then what?
And then you're saying,
So that's avoid, I write it on the scale.
and you're saying it goes from want and then to choice.
Well, if I step towards it, I go into have to, because I'm forcing myself, and then I go, wait, does this have to be have to? Can I make this a want to? Can I actually want to do this, or do I have to do it? And then you'll feel that shift in your body. It'll get lighter. You're like, okay, I can want this. Then if it gets into choice, it starts to become, I'm excited to do this. I'm enjoying doing this. There's a feeling, another shift that happens. I mean, we could add 10 layers to the scale. This is just for ease. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to do it to understand it. Are you trying to go out and figure out how to meet women, get dates, and basically get sex without being rejected? Well, let's talk about that and why that's completely unrealistic. You see,
etc. So not a safe place to be. Traveled all around Jordan this past couple weeks. It's been amazing. Just don't want to go into this one little town, which I'm avoiding. Actually drove